Morning chaps. Sold the Canon R8 last night and I actually sold it for $100 more than I thought I would. I thought it'd sell for $950, it sold for $1,050. So instead of $200 profit, I'm up $300 in profit, and that sold in literally like 6 hours after listing it. So very happy about that. I'm going to package it up now and post it, and then I'm actually going to put together a course detailing everything from A to Z. All right, marketplace arbitrage. How to make $100 to $500 a day with marketplace arbitrage and grow it to 5 to 10K a month in profit. Now you've seen me do this literally in the beginning of this video. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll see that I bought a camera, I listed it on eBay, and it sold overnight for $300. That's a $300 a day profit, right? So this absolutely works. I'm living proof. I've done it myself, and I've taught so many other people how to do it as well. It works if you work. And I'm going to go through the whole strategy in this video from A to Z. So make sure you stick around to the very end, because you're going to have a full understanding of how to do this, and you can probably go away, start doing it yourself, and start making some money from today. So introducing the arbitrage system that prints me and my clients millions of dollars in sales. We've quit our jobs whilst working fewer hours and making more money. This process will work, but you have to commit to it, right? It only works if you work. Like if you don't do the work, it won't work. The goal of this playbook is to get you to $100, $500 a day in profit with marketplace arbitrage, and then set you up perfectly to scale to 6 figures and beyond if you desire that. And look, this process will change your life. Like this document is worth thousands of dollars. This course is worth thousands of dollars, because just a few flips and you're making $1,000. You could do that within your very first month, right? Now I'll be talking in pounds and dollars because I've done this in the UK and I've done it in the US. Built my business to 20K profit months in the UK, and now I'm in the US just for fun. And in my first 2-3 weeks, I've made 5K in profit. I haven't even been doing this every day. I've just been doing it half-heartedly. And that's starting from scratch. No connections, no brand, nothing, just straight hustle. I've got students all over the world making money with this model, but it works best in countries like the UK, USA, Canada, and Australia. Unless you're in like the outback or like the remote islands of Scotland, it's going to work for you, right? If you're in a city, a town. My first location was my hometown, which was small, and I made my first 10K profit months there. There was only like 300,000 or 400,000 people who live there. And there's people living in smaller areas making good money with this as well. So don't worry about your area. If you live in somewhere like London, you're probably thinking, yeah, this is great. But there's more competition. If you're living in somewhere like Ipswich, it's a smaller town, but there's way less competition. So it's swings and roundabouts. And then we've also got the online part, which doesn't matter where you live, right? So without further ado, the exact marketplace arbitrage I've used to build 20K profit month business, helped other people quit their jobs and make full-time incomes working part-time. Because you can work part-time, like literally a few hours a day, make 3 or 4 grand a month, 5 grand a month. And then if you really want to take it to the next level, you can work more hours and you'll make more money. It really depends on how much time you want to put into the business. And you can do all of this without storage. You don't need a unit, you don't need a warehouse, nothing like that. You don't need to make content, and you don't need a heavy upfront investment to start. However, it does get very interesting and easy the more money you've got, but you can start with very little. Just stack your cash, right? Now this is for people who hate their job and want to reclaim their freedom, right? If you're working a 9 to 5, you make less than 60 grand a year, this is for you, okay? If you're making more than that, it's a little bit harder to replace your income, but anything less than 60K a year, it's pretty easy to replace your income with this. You've probably tried other business models and nothing seemed to really work. Dropshipping, affiliate marketing, all sorts of things. Nothing's really clicked. Loads of people have come to me after trying all these things, being burned by other gurus and stuff like that. And they do this and they're like, fucking hell, it actually works. I just can't believe something finally works. Maybe you're already reselling, you're making a few grand a month and you want to scale it up, right? Maybe you're reselling clothes or sneakers, margins are small. You want to make the $100, $200, $300 per flip. Maybe you're already phone flipping and you're sick of the margins getting squeezed. More and more people are coming into the game with phone flipping. Your profit margin's like 10%. So maybe you want to make more profits, and you can do that with what I'm about to show you. Maybe you're in a dead-end job with minimal opportunity to get a decent pay rise, right? If you're working at McDonald's very hard to get a pay rise to manager. And even when you do get a pay rise, get a promotion to manager and your pay rise, it's still like a very small percentage. With this, you can make an extra 30 grand in your very first year part-time. That's probably a 2x on your current salary, maybe more, or maybe a little bit less. But it's still, to get a double increase on your salary, that takes years in a job, right? Years and years and years. And maybe you just want a simple and profitable side hustle that doesn't require loads of hours. It's not complicated. You just need a clear playbook and strategy to make it work for you. So what is market placement arbitrage? Simply put, it's finding undervalued items from marketplaces like Facebook, and then we resell them on for a profit, normally to another marketplace like eBay. That's the easiest way to do it, Facebook to eBay. But you can also do Facebook to Facebook. You can do eBay to Amazon. You can do like OfferUp to a phone shop. You can do OfferUp to Facebook, OfferUp to OfferUp. There's loads of different ways to do it. And the way I structure it is basically, where am I going to get the most money? Where am I going to sell it quickest? Things like that. I recommend starting with phones and electronics because there's already a crazy amount of demand, right? And you can sell nationwide, right? You can buy an item locally, stick it online, and you've got pretty much the whole world if you truly want to. You can ship it internationally on eBay. And like your phone is guaranteed to sell if it's priced correctly. If you're picking up sofas, you're not shipping out across the country. You need to sell it locally. If you're doing clothes, you can ship those obviously nationwide as well, but margins are slimmer. With electronics, we're buying, iPhones and Sony, Apple products, already crazy demand, and we're making like $100 profit as a minimum. It will sometimes be less, like $50, but as an average, we want to be aiming for that $100 mark, which is like, 5 items a week, and that's an extra $500 a week without doing too much work. So you want to be buying these in new, used, and broken condition, right? Broken condition is very awesome. But this strategy works for loads of different things, like furniture, tools, toys, clothing, cars. I just don't have a huge amount of experience in these fields. I've sold cars. I used to be a mechanic, believe it or not, a qualified mechanic. So I've done that before. But again, that's a whole different ball ache, and it's just a different ball game. Phones and electronics is like the perfect sweet spot. No storage. You don't need a massive upfront cost with like overheads, like a unit and stuff like that. You don't need a mechanic on hand to fix anything. You don't need to repair anything at all. It's like you buy a phone, you put it on your shelf, you list it, and then you sell it. Don't need much space at all. You don't need a huge amount of money. And yeah, it's like the perfect sweet spot between everything in terms of margin, speed of sale, and like logistics. So there's some fundamental pillars to this game that you need to master. If you master these pillars, nothing else matters. Like you'll just find it so easy. So number one is sourcing. Obviously, you need to know where and how to source these items profitably. So it is very much simply going to Facebook Marketplace and looking through, but there's some strategy involved, right? People go and do this themselves and they come back to me and they're like, oh, I can't get the price I want. I'm like, well, yeah, they're not just going to accept your offer straight off the bat, are they? You need to work for it. And there's strategy involved here. So you need to learn how to source them, obviously. Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, eBay, Amazon. You can source from all of these different places. And that's literally what you need. I go online in my own time and just have a little look around to see what's available. And I'm got to the point now where I'm cherry picking deals. Pricing. You need to know how much an item sells for before you buy it, right? If you're doing cars, you can get the data and you can see it. If you're doing furniture, there's not really much data. You need to learn the game, or you need to pay somebody to tell that, and they can tell you yes or no. So pricing, we can look at data to see how much an item is selling for before we even buy it. Then all we have to do is buy it less than what we're going to sell it for. Pretty fucking simple, right? It is simple, but you also need to know how to get the prices you want, which is where the negotiation comes into play, right? Learning how to negotiate the price is going to be key. People who sell their items tend to roughly know what their items are worth, especially when it comes to phones, like iPhones. People have just, at some point, probably paid near enough $1,000 or £1,000 for their iPhone. And in their mind, they're thinking it's still worth a lot of money. And it is for the most part. iPhones hold their value better than other electronics. But when we come along and we lowball them, they will probably say no first, right? I'm pretty sure if you put a phone on Marketplace and somebody comes in with a £200 lowball, you're going to be like, nah, fuck off, mate. So we have a strategy to master the art of negotiation so you can turn that no into a yes. And there's different ways to do it, okay? So the closer the price is to your price that you need to pay, the easier it is to close. So you want to be going for devices that are near your price. So if you need to pay £100 for a phone, if it's listed at 150, he's more likely to come down to 100 than it is if he's listed it for 200 and he's got to come down to 100, right? So there's different ways we approach the negotiation depending on the price that it's at. To be honest, the negotiation is an entire course on its own, and I have an entire course on negotiation. So if you want to learn more about negotiation and get my scripts and my strategy and stuff like that, you can check out the link below and book a call and we can set you up with that, because there's like hours of training on the negotiation side of things, but you can just use scripts. And also, it is a numbers game, right? You can go to Marketplace and you can lowball 100 people and you will probably pick up a deal at some point. It's just going to be more numbers than strategy, right? When you get the strategy in place and you know what to do and what to say, you can message 100 people and buy 10 phones instead of one phone, right? So just keep that in mind. But you can just go and shotgun approach and lowball everybody and you'll pick up deals. But the key truly is learning the negotiation, and it becomes a bit of an art. Once you've really mastered it, you'll go to Marketplace and you'll have people coming down to your price, thinking they're in control, and it's just like a beautiful thing. And then finally, we have selling, right? So a lot of people don't really focus on selling because they just put it on eBay and it sells itself. But there are definitely ways you can increase your speed of sale and also the margin, right? So I like to leverage Amazon for a lot of things nowadays because that's where you're going to get the most profit. But if I've got a phone, that's going to a direct buyer. If I've got a broken item, that's probably going on eBay. And I very rarely sell locally, to be honest, but a lot of people like to sell locally because they want to do cash in hand for obvious reasons. So these are the 4 pillars you need to master: sourcing, pricing, negotiation, and selling. If you master just those, you've got a business, right? You've got a fucking business. But there's different pillars you need to implement to scale, right? So if you want a business that spits out 5 to 10K in profit each month, then you need to implement these pillars. And also, you also want to implement these pillars to free up your time. If you're just doing this, sourcing from marketplaces and stuff like that, it's very manual, and you've got to sit on Marketplace and do the sourcing, right? But there's ways to use leverage and tools and software and things like that to free up your time. So the first thing you want to do is get replenishables, right? So this is items that you can purchase over and over again. And the key to doing this is building relationships with suppliers, right? Wholesalers and things like that, but also sourcing from online, like eBay. You can also find stores that sell refurbished products and you can get them again and again and again. And you're just, at a certain point, you're just buying deals each month that are just going to last you for months. And getting replenishables is a great way to scale this business without running around the streets all day. So you definitely want to get replenishables. For example, a replenishable for me was an office headset. And I could buy this online in used condition from companies, from eBay and things like that. And all I had to do was just press the buy button. There was no negotiation, no ads, no nothing. I found the product. I saw that it's constantly coming for sale online and from my suppliers. And so I was just able to put in orders for 20 of them at a time. And it became a bit of a online arbitrage-esque business. But again, used condition electronics. Not buying brand new electronics from shops. Small margin, don't like doing that. Then you want to get repeat sellers. So that kind of ties into replenishables, but you can also get repeat sellers locally, right? You can get plugs in your local area who sell you items again and again, other resellers who sell you items again and again. And think about it. McDonald's wouldn't be where it is today if people just went there and ate once, right? So if you're buying an item from somebody and it's just one item, you've made maybe $100, maybe $300 from that person. But what you really want to be doing is making $1,000, $10,000 from a seller. So if you can find as many repeat sellers as physically possible, you're going to make more money. Whilst doing the new inbound sourcing stuff, right? You're getting new sellers in. You've also got your repeats. And one of my students today just messaged me saying it's his birthday. He just picked up a iPad and an iPhone, And he was like, yeah, just repeat sellers. I didn't have to do anything for this. They just came to me, which is awesome, right? And then we've got leverage. So when we first start out, Facebook Marketplace is probably going to be manual, right? You're going to go to Marketplace, you're going to send offers to people, you're going to message them, you're going to arrange meetups, which is great. It's fast cash. However, if you're working a full-time job, it's going to be hard to get past 5K a month doing that because you're just going to be so busy trying to juggle everything, right? So we need to introduce a leverage. And what does leverage look like, right? So leverage is hiring people to do certain tasks such as sourcing, admin, posting, and packaging, right? So you need to get some help in at some point. Leveraging paid advertising and software to source items for us. So we can run Google ads, Facebook ads, we can do local SEO, and we can actually have people messaging us on autopilot locally with items they want to sell. So they're coming to us. We can also use a bot for marketplaces such as eBay, Facebook, and OfferUp, which will ping us notifications when items come into stock or get listed. So we're the first to make an offer and we can quickly scoop that deal up before other people come into play. Then we can start leveraging Amazon, right? So if we leverage Amazon and we're buying things like cameras, headsets, speakers, anything basically other than iPhones, all we do is we label it, we send it into Amazon in one big box or multiple big boxes, then they post, pack and ship it to their customers. We don't have to do any of that. So that's a whole job that we don't have to do. So whilst we're doing the eBay and the local flipping and things like that, we've got Amazon in the background doing that. And that is real leverage, right? Real leverage. And nobody talks about that in the reselling space. Only they teach Amazon FBA where you go and do online arbitrage or wholesale. I've taken that and put it into used electronics. Not just electronics, but also media, so games and DVDs and things like that, but all within the sort of electronics space. Because I looked at companies like Music Magpie, Declutter, and they're in the top 100 biggest Amazon sellers in the world. And they don't sell a single brand new item. So I've taken their model and implemented it and tweaked it to what I do, and it works beautifully. In my first year selling on Amazon used products, I did 100K in sales, an extra 30 grand in profit. And it was like 20 minutes a day. It was awesome. So we want to implement systems to take care of repetitive tasks. So we can have a virtual assistant to do our admin, for example, and they just follow the system that we've put in place. And then we also want to be sourcing online instead of just locally, right? Because you can hire a virtual assistant to do the online sourcing. They find all of the products for you. You make sure that they're good, and then you just buy them. And that's a 20-minute a day job, maybe an hour at best. So you can fully get this business model down to like an hour a day and make 5 to 10K a month in profit. Once you've got cash in the bank and once you've mastered everything, it becomes a very easy, low stress, not passive, but as close to passive as possible. Certainly a full-time income on part-time hours, which is absolutely incredible. So why is right now the best time to get into marketplace arbitrage, right? People are buying used items more than ever before. The used industry is growing at a massive rate, right? Re-commerce is called, is growing and it's like taking over because people are more conscious and they less care about brand new items nowadays. Like even the iPhone, the latest iPhone is now in decline with the hype, right? They had their biggest sales year a couple of years ago and now it's like dipping, right? People are less concerned about buying the latest item and the brand new items because everything pretty much, like there's not really much more room to improve these devices, right? So they're very much happy to get the new device, sell it, and then they'll just keep their old phone because it does the job, right? So people are keeping and buying used items more than ever before. People also need money more than ever. Cost of living is up. If the boiler breaks, they haven't got money to fix it. So what's an easy thing to sell? They can sell a MacBook, a camera, a phone quickly. They can't exactly sell their car and replace that very easily. But people have got very expensive items in their house, which they can sell in an emergency. That's not always going to be the case because not everybody's in that position, which is why a big part of it is also convenience. If they do upgrade their phone, they don't necessarily want to sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Like if you've ever sold an item on Facebook Marketplace, it is a nightmare. People flake on you. You've got scammers. It's also risky, like meeting up. Like people don't like it. if you do things safely, like you can meet people up at a Starbucks or whatever, and it's very safe. I've not really run into any issues. But people are nervous, and they are very happy to just get rid of something for cheaper than it would normally be for convenience. Convenience is huge, especially in this day and age, right? With the world, like we've got Amazon, for example, next day delivery or 2-day delivery. People are now used to that quick, hassle-free sort of deal, and that's what we offer. We go to them, we meet them at a safe place near them, we give them cash, no questions asked, boom, happy days. And the average profit should be like £100, $120. So just a few flips a week can have a massive improvement on your life. And you don't need a lot of money to get started, because you can like double your money on your flips. If you're going to go do something like Amazon FBA, you ain't doubling your money on your fucking flips. It's very rare, like 40% ROI at best. And that's normally a slower seller. You know, most people doing online arbitrage or wholesale are making like 10%. So this is a great way to get your cash up. And then if you want to go for like the 7-figure scale, you know, you can transfer and transition into maybe Amazon FBA, or maybe you want to do dropship and stuff like that. But this is the perfect place to start to get yourself 5-10K a month in profit. And then you can do other things after that, because this is not the easiest business to scale to 7 figures, I'll be honest. It takes a team and you need a warehouse and stuff like that. But 5-10K a month in profit is fully doable from your house, as long as you put in the work. Results. So you can go to my Instagram account, it's @thelanks, and you can see I've got like literally 3 years worth of story highlights and wins, because everybody in my group is winning. And you'll notice that there's a lot of people reposting their wins again and again, because they've been doing this for like 3 years now, and that's because it simply works. Okay, so that was an overview of the business model. We'll now get into the nitty-gritty of like the different sourcing methods and different selling methods and things like that. Okay, sourcing. Sourcing is the #1 pillar to being successful in this game, right? It doesn't matter if you know how to negotiate, it doesn't matter anything. If you do enough sourcing, you will find deals. You do need to know how to negotiate though. Like, it is gonna help you out, but it is pure numbers as well. Like, if you go to Marketplace, send 1,000 messages, you will close deals. The key here though is to work smarter, not harder. So you can have 2 people. One person knows how to negotiate, one person doesn't. The guy who doesn't know how to negotiate sends 1,000 messages and closes a deal, right? That's not very efficient. Then you've got the guy who knows how to negotiate. He sends 1,000 messages. He's closing like 20%, right? Huge difference in this, but you don't need to learn. Like, negotiation takes time to learn. I have scripts and strategies that make it easier for people to get wins. But you can just go to Marketplace and fucking lowball everybody, and chances are you're going to get a deal or 2. Negotiation also helps you get bigger profit margins, right? Because it just, you can work with people to get the price down to what you want. But sourcing is still #1. The more leads you get, the more deals you're going to close. It's basically as simple as that. The best place to start making money with this is to source hot items from Facebook Marketplace and then sell them back on Marketplace or onto eBay, right? Items like the PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, also iPhones. With iPhones, you've got to be a bit aware of, like, if they get blacklisted and stuff like that. But realistically, not much can go wrong. The way you make sure a PlayStation or a console is working is you just get them to send you a video of the console working, right? Just literally send them, thank you for, okay, great, looking forward to seeing you at this time, blah, blah, blah. Can you just send me a quick video of it working plugged into the TV? And they'll send you it. And 99% of the time, people are not scumbags and they don't scam you. It's been with things like consoles. Very, very rarely. I think it's happened to me once or twice in 6 years. And that's actually when somebody else picked it up instead of me. So yeah, very rarely do they scam you. People are pretty by the book. And then with the Nintendo Switch, you can check that in person. Just make sure the whole thing's reset and the account is removed. So yeah, sourcing from Facebook Marketplace is like, it's easy, man. Like, you can do it in a few different ways. You can use a bot like Marketplace Monitor to send you notifications when something is listed. It's really good. So that's like what I call sniping, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you've also got phishing. So phishing is like where you go to Facebook Marketplace and you're just trying to find deals like sort of passively. Maybe they're listed high, they've been on Facebook Marketplace for a couple of days or weeks, and you're just sending offers to everybody to try and negotiate a price. It's very much relaxed. So you want to check the seller profile to make sure they aren't scammers. You can tell if they're a scammer because the item will be listed cheap, but it would have been on a marketplace for more than an hour. Like if a phone is on marketplace for lower than market value, that is gone in fucking seconds, okay? So you don't want to mess with them, just block the scammers. Like when you first get started, you'll have a lot of scammers and a lot of shit listings. Just block them and clean up your marketplace and it will just get easier to find these deals. But in the beginning, it's going to be full of shit. So send a message like, hi, is this still available? Then wait and see what they say. If they say yes, to say, okay, great. Are you accepting offers on this? If they say no, just say no worries and leave them, right? That's going to get in their head and they're going to be like, oh, what's your offer? And you've reeled them in, right? That's why it's called phishing. Then you can start to make an offer and start the negotiation. And sometimes, they'll be like, what's your offer? And you'll be like, $100, and they might accept it. You never know. Always make an offer. You want to try and find deals that are close to your buy price though, right? The further away it is from your buy price, the harder it is going to negotiate. If somebody needs to come down $500 for you to make a profit because they're dreaming and they think their item is worth way more than it is, they're very rarely going to come down. Of course, give them a lowball, but don't get caught up on trying to close them. So that's phishing. And I love phishing. Like camera gear is so good for phishing because there's not as much competition around them as phones. And so you're able to go to Facebook Marketplace every now and then, 3 or 4 times a week, and you'll probably be able to pick up a bunch of cameras. Finding deals on Facebook Marketplace 2.0. So this is sniping, right? So what you do is you can use the bot like Marketplace Monitor and it will send you listings that are freshly listed and you just go in there and boom, I'll give you $100 for it and I can collect the cash right away. It's very much boom, 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 quick. And they'll be like yes or no. And if they're not, you can do a little bit of negotiation, do a little bit of moosing, but generally it's just about putting in your offer and trying to get these deals closed as quickly as possible, because a lot of the time these phones will be like below your price, at your price, or maybe $20 away from your price. So if you just send in the offer you want, a lot of the time they'll just accept it. But you have to be quick. I can't stress it enough. You have to be quick. You're competing against a lot of other people. And like I said, like these phones are getting snapped up like boom, 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 quick as fuck. Also, keep in mind, if a deal is too good to be true, be cautious, right? Like if it's $500 below market value, chances are it's a scam. Don't send anybody money unless you've seen the device. Don't give away your personal details, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, can you just send me your email so I know you're real? And they just try and get like data. Don't give them anything, right? You're doing meetups, you meet them locally at a safe location and it's cash or bank transfer or something like that. Also, you need to be extra careful because I've heard in the UK, people doing fucking chargebacks on bank transfers nowadays, which is insane. So honestly, I would be doing cash. If you're in the US, I think it's a bit different. Like Zelle, they ain't getting their money. Nobody's going to be able to get their money back. So just be careful with bank transfers and stuff like that. Cash is probably the safest and most bulletproof way. Again, just be careful because if you go to a dodgy area, you might get robbed. So meet people at a safe place. Very, very important. And you can do this on other marketplaces like OfferUp, Gumtree, Kijiji. Depends on the country you're in. Gumtree is definitely underserved in the UK. Not many people use it. OfferUp is very good in the US. Kijiji is good in Canada. And Leboncoin, for example, is great in France. Better than Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. So in the country you're in, you're going to have different marketplaces. Experiment, try it out. It's all the same thing. Marketplace arbitrage. Doesn't matter what the marketplace is. We buy from one, we sell on another, and we make profits. But we can also find deals on eBay. So we can do eBay to Amazon, but we can also do eBay to local, or we can do eBay to eBay. I like to do eBay to Amazon. It's so powerful because you don't have to leave the house, right? And you can get this down to 20 minutes a day once you've got a portfolio of products that you can just buy over and over again. So I use a software called Keeper to source deals using the deal finder. I also go to Facebook Marketplace and I just spend my evenings scrolling through Facebook Marketplace and just seeing if I can sell it on Amazon for a profit. Like literally just boom, boom, Facebook Marketplace to eBay, use condition, boom. I just see if I can sell it for a profit. I purchased the item, I use SellerAmp to see if it's profitable, and that gives me all the data I need to see if it's profitable, if it's selling. Keeper tells me if it's selling, all that kind of stuff. The key here is to really learn how to analyze deals. And then I'll purchase it from eBay if it's profitable, get it shipped to my house. So then I have a few options. I can either list it on Amazon and ship it myself using FBM, which means fulfilled by merchant, or if it's under a certain value, like under $300 or something, I'll send it into Amazon FBA. Now I'll only do this in used condition because they are less strict on the invoice situation. If you're sending in brand new products and you don't have invoices from a reputable supplier, you're playing with fire a bit there. With used products, they're a lot more flexible because there are businesses that focus solely on refurbished and used products as a business model. So we have a little bit more leeway there. So if you do Amazon FBA, Amazon sells it to your customer. You don't have to do anything. And also, you can also use a prep center, right? You can actually buy a device, ship it into a prep center, and then they ship it into Amazon FBA. It's a little bit harder to do this with used electronics unless you've got a very good relationship with your prep center who are willing to test your used products. There's companies like Little Owl who are open to doing this, especially with things like books. So you can also use Facebook Marketplace in groups. You can post ads like this saying, we buy phones, we buy electronics, we buy cameras, blah, 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 and just post these every day on Marketplace in groups, and you'll have people messaging you with leads. You can hire somebody to do it for you on a daily basis. It's like $2, $5 an hour. So for $100 a month, you've got 30 ads going up a day in your local area, and people are just going to start learning your name, which is super powerful. This is not as powerful as it used to be. Okay, posting ads like this on Facebook Marketplace is not along the terms and conditions, so they're quite strict. But what you can do is, if it does stick, you can actually boost this ad on the marketplace, so $5 a day, and you're going to get even more leads coming through. And then Facebook seems to be more generous and don't really care so much about their terms if you're paying them $5 a day to boost the ad, right? So you can do that as well. It's a very good way to get into the paid ad space without having to do too much, setting up ads and doing all the ads manager thing. You can just do it from your mobile phone, put your card on there, and boom, you can run ads. They might ask you to verify your identity because when you're running ads, they want to verify your identity to make sure you're not doing anything dodgy. Political things, like they've been quite strict after these political campaigns. So yeah, but you can use Facebook Marketplace in groups to post ads like this, and then you can actually boost them with paid ads, and you're going to get more leads. $5 a day will probably get you 3 or 4 leads a day, and those, you won't close them all, right? You're going to close like 20%, but that could be an extra deal a day for $100 profit, right? So it's well worth it. If you're spending $150 a month on an ad, all you need is 2 deals to cover that, and then everything else is profit. Then we have advanced scaling sourcing strategies, right? So this is all like marketplace arbitrage, eBay to Amazon, eBay to marketplace, Facebook, OfferUp, etc. Facebook groups and stuff like that. But then we can actually take it a step further, and this is going to be key to getting those 5 to 10K month profits with leverage and automation, so we're not working stupid hours every single day, right? So a Google business profile, aka SEO, is going to be great, right? If you can rank number 1, which is pretty easy to do for this, you're going to get leads coming in on autopilot for free. All you need is a website. And I use buybacks.io for that. So you set up your Google business profile like this, and if you're doing phones, you could be like local phone buyer, and then you just keyword it, we pay cash for phones, but you can also do we pay cash for phones, electronics, blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that off the bat though, because again, this is against the terms and conditions of eBay. You want to set up the Google business profile under your real business name first, and then afterwards you can go back and edit it and get it ranking higher. And yeah, free money, guys. Like one of my students, he makes about £1,500 to £2,000 a month just from Google business profile. That is free money, basically. He doesn't have to do anything. They message him or call him or put the information into the website. He sends them an offer, and then a lot of the time they'll actually come and drop the item off because it's a different frame to marketplace, right? When people sell on marketplace, they're expecting you to come and collect it because they're the seller. They have more leverage. When somebody comes to a business to sell a phone, the dynamic's different, right? When they go to, let's say they wanted to sell a camera to a local pawnbroker or CEX or something, they're expecting to go in store. So it's the same with your business. They're expecting to go somewhere. So they're more likely to come and meet you. So if you don't have a car, these strategies are very good that I'm about to go into, right? You can also take it a step further and do Google SEO. Like, so for example, if you live in London, London's got a load of different boroughs. So you can have a page specifically to every single borough. So you're going to rank, and that's going to make you, that's one, it's going to help rank your Google business profile, because Google is going to look at your whole website and say like, wow, this guy's active. He's got loads of different pages. He's got loads of different keywords. Let's rank his whole business up because he seems trustworthy, right? So this whole thing works in sync. And you can have individual pages for different keywords. So you can have sell my camera London, but then you can go one step further and be like, sell my camera Islington, sell my camera Camden, sell my camera Surrey, etc., etc. And then you can have loads of different keywords, and it's just, you're going to have, your website's going to be ranking number one all over the city, all over the county, and you're just going to have loads of leads coming in for free. Works like clockwork. And now with ChatGPT coming into play, you actually want to be doing this on Bing as well, because ChatGPT gets its searches from Bing.com. So if you can rank on Bing Places, which is like the Google Maps of Bing, and also rank on Bing for SEO, ChatGPT is going to pick up your business and recommend people. So when they go to ChatGPT and say, I want to sell my phone in London, you want to be coming up number one. So getting on Bing Places is going to be huge. And if you start doing that now, you're going to be ahead of the game. All right, then we have Google ads. These are fucking amazing, right? $5 a day, $10 a day, £10 a day, and you're going to get 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 leads a day coming in on autopilot, like clockwork. And yeah, it just works. I'm running ads for one of my clients, and it's just £7 a day at the moment. And in the first week of June, I think he made about £1,000 in profit just from the Google ads. That doesn't include the SEO, doesn't include his marketplace activities, and he's on track to hit 10K a month in profit very soon. So yeah, you just want to have like 20 miles at least. You want to make sure that it's people in or regularly included in your locations. You don't want people from like further afield who've been in the city for recently and then they've gone again. And you want to have very strict keywords. I don't like to go broad. Sell broken phone, sell my iPhone in London, trading device, blah, blah, blah. And then it should look something like this. Very, very, very specific. Sell your phone today, get paid in 30 minutes, stuff like that. And yeah, Google ads are like really good, really, really good. And they're pretty easy to set up. And once they're up, you kind of just let them run. There's not too much you need to do. You let them run and they just get better with time. Sometimes they don't work off the bat and you need to make tweaks. And you need to make sure your landing page is converting well as well. I see a lot of people try and set up the ads and they do their own website and it's converting at like 5%, 2%. So you want to make sure your landing page is good. My landing page converts at 30%, which is awesome. So if I get 100 people view it, I'm getting 30 leads, which is awesome. So yeah, ads also make your business very predictable, right? If you know that if you get 100 page views, and that means you get 30 leads, and you get 100 views for $5, say, all you need to do is get 1,000 views for $300, and it just becomes a mathematical equation to hit the numbers that you want to hit. You can also use Facebook ads. These used to be fucking amazing, man, but they're a little bit harder to get to work now. They take time to tweak. But what they work really well for is broken electronics and broken phones, because people don't have a lot of opportunity to sell broken phones for the price they want or to where they want to sell it, right? The online marketing, the online recycling companies, they pay shit. They pay dog shit for broken phones. Phone shops don't pay very well for broken phones from customers. So we can come along and actually pay very well for broken phones, and people have got phones just sat in their drawer. So yeah, it will look something like this. Ugly the better, and yeah, they work really well. You can now use AI to create creative, but yeah, again, $5, $10 a day to start. Get a messenger ad up and running, and you're going to have leads coming in on autopilot, and these can be really profitable. I first got to America, set up my ads, just $5 a day, and within a day I had a guy selling me a phone which he said was locked. It was actually unlocked. So I would have made $100 on that, which basically covered my ad spend for the month. But it actually ended up being unlocked. So I made $300 on that. And that was my ad spend covered for the month. Everything else on top of that is profit. So the return on ad spend should be around 4 to 5x on just the paid ad. And then everything else comes in. And overall, with all your marketing activities, you should be getting like a 5 to 10x ROAS. Because even if you're not getting direct sales from this, people are seeing your brand. So then they go to Google and they see your brand again. It's all just working together. And yeah, that leads me on nicely to branding, right? Word of mouth marketing, trust. The ultimate goal for you guys and for me is to build a brand in your area so you are the local go-to guy, right? And you achieve this by getting your name out there by any means necessary. Running ads, placing ads on groups and marketplace, get a website, be on the first page of Google, get business cards, put signs up, anything you can think of, right? Guerrilla advertising, that's called. We actually had some guys in Scotland who killed it with the branding, and they actually got some big waterproof signs. They were like the waterproof fabric signs, and they put them up in 5 different locations of the city. They only paid like £100 for 5 of these, and they actually had people messaging them from the signs. Get a QR code on there, so people just have to scan it, or put your phone number on there, and yeah, people are going to start messaging you. And again, even if they don't directly message you, they're going to see the brand, and over time, you're going to have brand awareness and build a brand in your city that people are just going to recognize and remember, and you'll be the go-to person. Like, for example, CEX in the UK is not the best payer, let's be honest, but they've been around for 20 years, and it's just like people think CEX when they want to sell games, consoles, things like that, right? Bonus, create branded clothing, right? It increases status and authority. If you go to pick up a phone from someone and you're wearing your brand in a nice jumper, and you need to renegotiate the price, you're just going to have more authority, look professional, and they're going to accept your opinion more so than if you turn up in a tracksuit, for example. And then we have plugs, okay? So plugs are kind of like repeat sellers, and these can basically change the game for you, but you don't want to rely on them, okay? Plug is somebody who can supply you regularly with phones and electronics in bulk. Really the creme de la creme of this arbitrage game, right? I had a plug once and we were making 20k a month in profit for 2 months straight without doing any fucking work. Like, he literally got the devices, I went to go pick them up, paid him and sold them. That was it. And we made a fuck ton of money for that. But they don't last forever, right? Their supplier dries up, or however they're getting them dries up. So make sure when you do hit a plug, you save that money. Don't just spend it, right? Stack it. And don't forget to continue all of what I've just told you as well. Don't just rely on it. Okay, because I relied on it, it dried up, and then I had to go back to square one to start building the marketing. Somebody else in my group got a plug, and for like 3 or 4 months straight, he was making like 6 or 7k a month in profit without doing any work. And now he's back to square one, trying to do all of the advertising and stuff because he stopped all of it because he got complacent. We all do it, and I'm telling you now, try not to do that, right? For the most part, they come to you. You can find them by using your advertising strategies, and they'll come to you and message you. And you'll also find them on Facebook Marketplace. I reached out to a guy selling these Kindle Scribes. He only had one listed, but he ended up having 30 of them, and then he got 10 or 20 more further down the line as well, and would just sell them straight to me. So, you know, they're everywhere. You just need to find them, and they also come in time, right? So then, you're not just going to come into this game and get a plug. I was in the game for 4 years before I got my first real plug. I did have a few here and there, but they weren't like, you know, proper plugs. They were more of a repeat seller than a plug. So yeah, don't come in and expecting to find one. You need to be in the game long enough. There's a guy in my group who has been in the game for a year, and he recently got a plug. I think he bought maybe 50 iPhones and iPads in bulk and made about 8 grand in profit without, like, boom, just like that. But again, he was in the group for a year, and he only got them when he started running paid ads. They came through his ads. All right, so that's all the sourcing, really. There's quite a lot to it, but you want to get all of this running together. I call it the arbitrage engine, right? The arbitrage engine. And basically, you want all of this pumping, right? All of this pumping together, because once you've got it all going, you're going to have so many leads that closing deals is just going to be easier. Like you're gonna close deals, and then it gets even easier when you finally get the negotiation down. Okay, so yeah, just this sourcing strategy here, guys, is huge, and you can make a lot of money from it. Pricing. How do we actually find the resale value of items? Okay, so we can find them from a few different places. Facebook Marketplace. You can go to Marketplace, check the sold listings, and get an average price. Pretty simple. You can also go to eBay, check the sold items of the item you want to sell and get an average, or you can get it straight from direct buyer lists. That's easy as hell, right? If they say they're paying $770 for a 15 Pro Max, we just have to buy it for $700 and we make $70 profit. Boom. No fees, blah, blah, blah. Easy as. And then we've got, option 4 is Amazon. So if you're selling on Amazon, we can use Keeper to get a price. Now this might look confusing, but these pink dots here, as you can see, are the buy box for the used goods. If we can base our price on here, which is like the worst case scenario, which is around $1,600. If we base our price on $1,600, worst case scenario, we make a profit here. If we do sell it for $1,800, we're laughing, right? You don't want to be basing your price on the best case scenario. Base it on the worst case scenario. It's pretty simple once you know how to do it, but it just takes a bit of practice to get used to it. One thing you can do is join the Discord group, and I have a pricing section, right? So you can post in your deal, and I will basically say yes or no. You can pay that, that's good. If not, no. And I'll also help you get the price that you need to with negotiation scripts. So, we have a full-on program where we help people get started in this game and remove all of the guesswork. Super powerful. And then we have the negotiation, right? So like I say, sourcing is number 1. You need to learn how to source, and you will close deals. But once you learn how to negotiate, that sourcing is going to be so much better because you're going to close more deals. Okay, so there's a few rules I have. Customer service needs to be 10 out of 10. Okay, there's going to be guys and girls who are selling their items who think their items are worth a lot of money. And they are fucking dreamers. Okay, they think their iPhone 6 is still worth $1,000 because they bought it for $1,000 10 years ago. Don't get sarcastic with them. Don't get fresh. Don't get smart. Remain 10 out of 10 customer service. And if they don't agree to your price, leave them and come back. Don't let your ego get in the way. Don't argue with them. Some of these people are going to tell you to fuck off because you're lowballing them. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to call you a prick. All of this is going to happen. Keep your customer 10 out of 10. Make them think that they're right. The key to this, and one thing that I've really mastered, is making them think that they're in control without them being in control. And I get them down to the price I want whilst thinking they're in control. If they're priced really high, you need to tell them they're wrong without telling them they're wrong. And I've got loads of training on how to do this in my advanced negotiation training, seller psychology. But just keep this in the back of your mind, right? You got to be slick. You got to be smooth. I have scripts and things like that. And the key thing also is a lot of them will not accept your price off the bat. Very few, like a small percentage will. So there's one guy, for example, I'm negotiating with on a camera. It's been going on for 2 weeks. He's slowly coming down to my price. Nobody's buying it. So he's slowly, and I'm pretty sure I will close it eventually. And I'll probably do a video on that eventually when he does accept. But I'm just working away. I'm nice and friendly. I'm not telling him he's wrong. I'm just saying, yo, no worries, bro. Look, my offer's on the table. If you want it, you can have it. If not, no worries. And then you just go find some more deals, man. There's so many deals. Right, you want to keep it simple. You don't want to be bombarding them with questions and essays. You want to speak to them like they're 3-year-olds. When you go in there, you want to ask a few questions, three max, and then make an offer. You don't want to ask loads of shit like the condition, the battery health, the IMEI. None of that. Assume it's in rough condition. Assume it's not in the best condition. And then just go in with your offer. If anything is not as described when you go to check the phone in person or the item in person, that is an opportunity to renegotiate and lowball them in person, right? And there's a whole load of tricks you can do to get the price down in person as well. If they don't like your price, right? If you're negotiating with them, let's say you find an iPhone on Marketplace for $500, okay? You go in there and offer $300 and they say no. Do not just go in there. Okay, what about $350? Do not do that, man. That's amateuristic. if that's even a word. That's just, don't do that because you look desperate. First of all, it looks like you've just lowballed them to try your luck. And now you look desperate. You need to be like, how much do you want for it? What's the best offer you can give me? Don't just increase your fucking price. Try and get them to the $300 2 times before you then say, okay, look, on this occasion, I can do $320. How about we meet in the middle, right? Don't just fucking increase your price, right? Don't be a dick. Don't be an amateur. Remember, slick, smooth, professional. You have to get a price out of them, okay? Make them feel good, right? Make them be polite, make a joke, make them laugh, blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff is really, really good. We're dealing with the general public, okay? We're not dealing with businesses. We're dealing with the general public. We're typically emotional. Like we buy on emotion. We do deals on emotion more so than if it's beneficial to us for the most part, right? Obviously, they're not just going to like give it away for basically free because you've made them feel good. But if they like you, they're more likely to give you the price you want just because they like you. And I've had this where I've messaged somebody a price and he didn't, for whatever reason, he didn't like me at all. I don't know what it was. He must have just not liked my look on my face. And I got my partner to actually message him, same price, and he accepted it straight off the fucking bat. And then we went and I got the deal done in the end from another account, but he just didn't like me, right? So, this can happen. Make sure you have a few accounts so you can go and do this, but yeah, make sure they feel good because they're just more likely to do a deal with you simply because they like you. Be the most convenient service and offer, right? You don't want to be like asking them loads of questions, reply quickly. If you can, go to them. Obviously, you can get them to meet you, but if you want them to meet you, give them an incentive. Like, look, I'll pay for your Uber. I'll pay you $10 extra, whatever. Right? Just make it a good experience for them. Very important. And then you can use the drop-down negotiation tactics where, like, if they don't accept your first offer, then you start asking questions. Like, if it's a phone and they don't accept your offer, you'll be like, okay, what's the battery health? If they're like, oh, it's 100%, that's pretty good. You can be like, oh, okay, maybe I can increase my offer by $20 because it's 100%. And at the end of the day, if they don't accept your offer, don't block them, don't be snarky, don't do anything. Leave them for a few days and follow up with them if it's still for sale in the future. Follow up is huge, right? And like I say, we go deep into the negotiation training inside my coaching program, Accelerate. Link below if you want to check that out. All right, step 4, selling. So we can relist back on Facebook Marketplace. I've got a bunch of guys doing like 6, 7, 8, 9. One of my guys, Leo, was doing like 10K a month in profit, reselling in pounds. So that's like $12,000 in profit just from Facebook Marketplace. He actually got his eBay banned, so he only had to do Facebook Marketplace and direct buyer. So yeah, Facebook Marketplace is great. If you price it right, it will sell quickly. If you price it at market value, like market average, it will take a bit of time to sell, but there's no fees and it's cash in hand, right? It's worked really well in cities. And you can also look at other resellers in your area and see what they're selling out and just undercut them a bit, right? So you want to take very professional photos, like really well-lit photos that look good and stand out above the competition, right? Because there's a lot of people listing on Marketplace and you want to make sure yours stand out, right? The first picture should have all of the accessories, everything that they're going to get in that first picture. Obviously within reason. If it's like hundreds of items, then obviously not. But if it's a phone with a box and a charger, put that all in the first picture. You can edit the saturation and put some contrast between the items. So a white background would be really good if you've got like a phone, like, black screen and whatnot. So contrast helps it. If you can include a video, that's going to help you as well. Battery health, IMEI, if you want to, that's just going to make sure people are not asking you so many questions and they can have all the information to make an informed decision. A lot of people will try to negotiate. That is the nature of Marketplace. That's literally what we do. So set your price $22 higher if you want to, and you can also put in no offers to deter people from trying to negotiate. You'll also find people try to negotiate in person. Just stand your ground and be prepared to walk away. Selling on eBay, in my opinion, is the best place to sell the majority of items we flip. Because you can sell basically anything. Broken phones, new phones. Don't sell brand new iPhones on eBay because they're getting strict. They might ask you for invoices, and if you can't provide an invoice, you're going to get banned. So I only flip broken and used like iPhone 16s. I will not sell brand new iPhone 16s, brand new iPhone 15s. I'll sell them as open box, potentially. But most of the time I'm selling these to phone shops or direct buyers anyway, because there are scammers on eBay. So just be aware of that. They don't, like, nobody's scamming you for a fucking broken iPhone 13. So that's fine, right? And again, take well-lit photos. Describe the phone perfectly to avoid refunds. Don't oversell it. If it's in mint condition, just say it's in used condition, right? Don't try to oversell it. You want the person to receive the item and be like, this is better than I thought. I'm going to leave the guy good feedback. That's what I do. Again, contrast between the photos. I don't sell to sellers who have got less than 10 feedback unless they message me first. So in the description, I'll say, if you've got less than 10 feedback, message me before you buy it or I'll cancel your order, and I do cancel it. Don't sell brand new items on eBay, like hot items. I still sell brand new items on eBay. Very rarely though. I pretty much have a fully used business, re-commerce business, because they are asking for invoices from like the reputable suppliers now, so direct from Amazon and things like that. I think that's just because there's an influx of scammers around like iPhone 16 Pro Maxes and stuff like that, because if somebody does a scam on a 16 Pro Max, there's like a $3,000 for them. But people very rarely are scamming you on cameras and VR kits, consoles, and other things like that. So don't worry about the scammers. Just be careful selling like hot, high profit items like iPhone 16 Pro Maxes. The goal for eBay is to get to top seller rated status ASAP. So 100 sales, $1,000 in sales, and then 3 months old account, and you'll be top rated seller. That means you get 10% discount on your fees, which is great. And you also get listed higher in eBay's algorithm, so you can list things a little bit higher, and it just makes your whole thing better. Selling to direct buyers, so you can actually sell items like phones, diabetic supplies, iPads, things like that to a direct buyer. Most of my phones, like iPhones, go to a direct buyer nowadays. You can get paid same day in some instances once you've built a relationship with them. Just be aware of deductions. Grade A is very hard to get. It basically has to be brand new condition. So pretty much appraise everything on grade B. And yeah, just look at their criteria. A really good direct buyer in the US is Easy Electronics. I'll link them down below. They're really good. They pay very well. They pay on time, and they don't give too many deductions. Like, as long as you're honest and upfront with them, they're not trying to cut corners on your deals. Send an invoice in the box, make their life easier, and you'll build a relationship quicker. You can also sell to phone shops, right? So you can get phone shops in your area who will buy from you directly. There's a few groups on Facebook for phone flipping, and you can just go in and say, hey, is there a phone shop, or is there any direct buyers or local buyers in Houston, Texas? I want to sell to you directly, and they'll pop up. It happens a lot. In the UK, there's a really good phone group, and the good buyers will just send you a bank transfer once you've built trust. And I've had it where I've literally picked up a phone, put it in the group, and then somebody's paid me within 5 minutes of me buying it straight into my bank account. So I've got it instantly, and then I sell it to them, I post it to them the next day. And that is like, you're turning the cash around pretty fucking quickly there, guys. So powerful. All of these direct buyers and the phone shop groups, all of that's in my coaching program. So I give it all to you. You don't have to find it yourself. And then finally, we have selling on Amazon, which is like the creme de la creme, in my opinion. I love it. You can flip cameras from marketplace to eBay for profit, right? But you'll probably find it's like 50 to 100 more on Amazon. So why wouldn't you do that? And it's incredibly slept on in this reselling used electronics game. Nobody talks about it. I am the only person talking about it in the buyback re-commerce used electronics game. So take note. First year, I started selling used electronics on Amazon with 6 figures in revenue, 30K a year in profit extra. And there was a company in my hometown who does DJ equipment, just DJ equipment. And he's got a multi-7-figure business leveraging Amazon, selling DJ equipment, hi-fi equipment, and used electronics. But he also has his own private label brand now around DJ equipment. He's like the #1 seller for music stands, like speaker stands. I think it's called Gorilla stands. So he's like #1 seller. So you can niche down and start building out your own label around this as well, right? This is like super high level stuff, but just on the Amazon alone, you could get an extra 6 figures in revenue, probably 6 figures in profit if you really stick to it, compound your cash and just build it up. And you can sell all sorts of things, right? Cameras, headphones, DVD players. I sold, it's funny really, I've sold like 3 DVD players to prisons in the UK. I guess like the inmates are allowed to watch DVDs or stuff, but they can't get like, Netflix or whatever. So you can sell so much variety, so it's really good for scaling. Great for scale thanks to the FBA program. Just don't send in like really expensive products because you might get scammed or Amazon might lose it. You can sell used and new items on there, but I really don't recommend doing new products unless you're willing to take the risk, because you won't have invoices. And if you don't have invoices and you get a strike on your account, you need to sell a lot of volume to get that strike percentage lower. But it works fine for used electronics. Very rarely, I haven't had a single strike in the 4 years I've been doing that. And then you can build a fully automated business leveraging Amazon, right? So you can actually get it to a point where you have notifications coming to your phone, you buy the item, you get it shipped to your house, or you get it shipped to a warehouse, somebody tests it, packs it, ships it into Amazon or ships it to your customer, and it's like basically automated 20 minutes a day for you to go and enjoy your life or focus on growing the business even more. That's kind of where I've got it now. I've got 2 people in the UK who prep, test and package my electronics, and they do the selling for me whilst I'm in America reselling for the fucking fun of it. Tips: never buy an item from Facebook Marketplace without seeing the item first. Don't give them cash over the internet, right? You might get scammed. It's full of scammers. You want to see the item in your hand tested before you hand them cash. Never pay anyone money without testing it first, right? So you want to test the phone, have the phone in your hand, and then give them cash. Don't give them the phone back and give them cash because they might run, right? Just be super safe. Best to meet in a safe place like a Starbucks, McDonald's, Tesco, supermarket, somewhere where there's loads of people and cameras and it's very hard for somebody to rob you. The further you're willing to drive, the better deals you'll find. If you can go 50 kilometers, you can get some big, very good deals, but just make sure it's worth your time. I wouldn't be driving an hour for $50, like an hour there and back. That's 2 hours. That's $25 an hour, plus fuel and stuff. I wouldn't do that, but I would happily drive an hour for $300 in profit. I'll probably do 3 hours for $100 in profit if I'm having a slow day. You probably won't find deals your first time on Marketplace, right? You need to block the scammers, you need to get a feel for it, but just stick to it, right? And you will find that you won't go onto Marketplace and find deals for the price you want it, right? In theory, this is so simple. You go to Marketplace and somebody's selling a phone for £100 profit straight off the bat and bosh. It doesn't work like that, guys. You need to get the prices down. That is the deciding factor in this, right? And the number, this is really important to save your time. Make sure to confirm with the seller or buyer 1 hour before meetup to avoid wasting your time. Hey, I'm about to set off. Can you confirm? If they don't reply, don't go, because they might not turn up, and it happens a lot, especially if you're driving a long distance. So yeah, make sure you confirm with them beforehand. So yeah, guys, this document covers the entire process I personally use to make 5-10K a month in profit, working part-time hours. I'm doing it in the UK and in the US as we speak. It's the same method that has helped countless members make life-changing money and quit their jobs. Okay, here's some wins. Ivan, £1,000 profit in a day with Carl. Those 2 boys, hustlers, 4.5 grand in their very first month, and then they actually made 15 grand in profit just 6 months later. Johnny bought this 16 Pro Max for £200. It was actually unlocked, so I think at the time of this, we probably made about £500 in profit from one flip. Joe joined and basically with the similar training to this, picked up his first deal for £280. I think he made about £50 in profit for his first deal. Jay, he's smashing it, got loads of deals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 2 days worth of deals. Picked those all up. In 3 months, he made 10K in net profit. 450 profit for somebody here. 300, so 2 phones from Facebook ads. Matt, killing it. Aki made £4,500 in profit. He works a full-time job as well. So, guys are killing it. £900 in profit for the day. £15,000 in profit for the month of January. Ahmed, in his very first week, made £355 in profit, like cash collected. And then he had 2 other phones which were to sell for an extra nearly £400 in profit. So expected profits in his first week is like nearly £500. Jay, 10k in net profit in his very first 3 months. Oh, I've got his review here twice. So yeah, you've got enough here, guys, to go at this and start making money. But if you are stuck, confused, or struggling to get the prices down, struggling to figure out how much to sell items for, I have a coaching program called the Accelerate program, where I give you everything, right? What to actually buy and sell, negotiation scripts, templates, a training, how to automate your sourcing, implement the paid ads, scale this to 5-10k a month profits or more, with like literally everything you need. And I hold your hand every step of the way. If you're interested in that, there's a link below to watch the video to show you how I help you do it. And then you can book a call or DM me on Instagram coaching and we can get you started. But you don't need that to get started. You can get your first wins. And that's the whole point of this video, right? I want you to go and get some wins, see that it works, and then work with me to take you to the next level, right? Because I can help you systemize it and get this to 5-10k a month in profit. So hope you enjoyed the training. It's a good hour long and there's enough here to start getting some quick wins and start making some money.